Hi, welcome to Lights, Camera, Action. I'm Allison Howard and your host for tonight's show. Today we're going to be talking to two actors that are in the Washington, D.C. area. And even though you might not necessarily think of Washington as being a hub for the entertainment business, there's actually a lot more work in this area than I think a lot of people realize. So let's meet two of them right now. We have Daron Stewart and Daria Long.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Allison.
How are you guys?
Good.
Good. So let's get started. How did you guys get into acting?
Well, I was introduced to acting by my older brother. Years ago, he attended University of South Carolina, and my parents and I drove up to see a production that he was directing, and I just became so enthralled with this character on stage, you know, because he was just this mean-looking guy on stage, and I got a chance to meet everyone afterwards, and he was just a total opposite. And I said, wow, you know, that's amazing. That is amazing. But it was a wonderful production, and that's pretty much how I got started. I mean, my brother would just always take me to movies and just see different things. So, yeah, that's when I got started. My brother introduced me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was
How
awesome
old
to
were
see.
you?
I'm going to say maybe 13.
Okay.
Yeah, around 13 years old.
Wow.
Much younger than when I started.
Yeah. How'd you get your start?
My mom actually recommended I take a class at Roundhouse Theater. So I took a class there, and one of my classmates said she was a screenwriter, but she actually got me on Below the Beltway. And when I got there, they're like, oh, no, she's not a screenwriter. She's a talent scout. I was like, oh, really? So I was looking at my classmates. We were all there. I was like, wow, we're here. And so that was kind of my first time. I think I was maybe 18 at the time.
What's Below the Beltway? What is
It's actually it's a political film. It had
okay.
Tate Donovan and a couple other big actors in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it
So
was his first.
was acting ever really something that you guys considered as being like your career path? Like you would go to school for it or really pursue it from day in or day out? Or did you guys have alternate careers that you guys...
No.
For both of you?
No, absolutely. I mean, my brother...
I was a law major.
Yeah, and I went for
it's
education,
far.
you know,
It's far from it.
but it was never something that I set out to actively do.
Wow.
You know, it was, my brother went to college for theater, but I just enjoyed watching, and it wasn't until, I don't know, some years later that it actually fell in my lap. And that's how how I really came into it, and I just got bit by the acting bug and been loving it. It's just been a passion. I can't stop doing it, you know.
Wow.
It's kind of like a high. It's like when you're on a stage, you know. It's kind of a magical moment.
So you were education and you were pre-law?
I was a law major. I went to UDC because they had Howard University. They were affiliated, so I took law classes there. I was a criminal justice major.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's a different change.
See,
Totally
you don't
far
all have to be into theater from the get-go and decide that you're going to do it in order to get into it. So that's absolutely awesome. So what is your favorite part about being a part of a project, either a stage show or on a set, or if you do a commercial or industrial? What's your favorite part about that day when you're working there? Or any of the days, because stage performance is much longer.
For me, hands down, it's being paid doing what you love to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's it. I mean, a lot of people do it as a hobby, but this is my livelihood. And so every day is a blessing to me that, you know what, I'm waking up and I'm going either to an audition or a show or whatever it is. You know, it's a blessing that, you know what, this is my livelihood. This is how I put food on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
For
How
me,
about you? Your
I love to
favorite
entertain.
Part? You love entertaining
Yeah,
people?
I love making them laugh, and it's always fun. I used to teach my sisters. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make you laugh, like right now, because they would scream or cry. And I'd be like, if I can make you laugh, you have to stop crying. And then they'd always be surprised, and I'd be like, it's magical. It's that moment where you can like influence people. You know, it's really nice.
Now, hearing that you say you like to make people laugh, are you drawn more to comedy, or are you drawn more to? Do you like drama?
I love both the drama. Drama's such a wide range, and I love like you can experience so many things. Like I love going from one moment of being like this really happy person to like just someone totally opposite who's been like, you know, because I did a scene once where they're like, okay, you're playing a rape victim, so I had to like cry, and I was just like, this is really, you know. And sometimes you do a scene that's really close to your own history, and it's kind of like, you get to experience it and at the same time be distant from it. It's almost kind of like a therapy too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah.
that before.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
Now, which are you drawn to, comedy or drama?
Oh, straight drama.
Drama.
Drama's
Yeah,
fun.
drama. I mean, it's
Dramatic.
there's just more stories with
Right.
in drama. I mean, I love comedy too. Don't get me wrong, but you know, there's nothing like, as an actor for me, there's nothing like grabbing onto and chewing into a nice dramatic role. You know, that a dynamic character. You know, that goes from worrisome to a counselor type. I mean, just a dynamic character. You know?
Plus, it's realistic because life is full of drama. Like anything possible can happen in life. And
But
so
life
it's
can be
realistic.
funny too.
It can be, but it's
Every
never
day.
funny every single moment. So it wouldn't be funny if there weren't something the opposite of funny.
That's true. That is a
So,
good point.
yeah.
So hearing how you guys talk about, you know, the different types of roles that you like, who are some of your favorite actresses and actors to watch?
Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley, you like Keira?
Yeah. I used to.
she's great.
I tried to learn her accent.
Oh, did you? How did that go?
I think it's all right, just a little bit, but it's not quite as lovely as hers.
Yes. I love her
Yes.
accent.
It is so lovely.
So any male actors that you like?
Orlando Bloom has been my favorite for years.
So you like people with accents, essentially.
Pretty much,
Not just
right?
that, but I also love the British. It's different a little bit from like American way of doing things, and even being on set is a little different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a different passion to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have different stories and different lives behind them than we do.
That's very true. How about you? Who are your favorite actors and actresses to watch?
Favorite actors, definitely Denzel Washington.
Yes, he's a classic.
Jeffrey Wright, I think he is very underrated, and Wayne DeHart, a brilliant stage and screen actor out of Houston, Texas, and I had the pleasure of working on one show with him, Fences, and he is just a brilliant actor. I mean, you know, I didn't go to school for acting, so you know, one of the things that I found was kind of challenging was going into this learning as I'm doing.
Right.
And you know, a lot of times I would just be off in the wing watching this guy, you know, and just trying to understand, well, why did he do it that way? Why did he deliver his line that way, this way, you know? And so, but those are the main ones that I love watching. Actresses, I love Angela Bassett. I had the pleasure of meeting her one time, and I just think she's phenomenal as well. But there are so many.
I know.
So many, and really, for me, I love theater because it disciplines you. You know, I mean, and that's where you really get your true actors, I think. I mean, because you know, everything is done at that time. It's instant gratification, and you have to get it right, and you have to be in character the whole time, so that if you do miss a line, it doesn't show from the audience.
Right. So, okay, so both of you have done a little bit of work in film and theater. Which do you prefer?
Film, 100%.
Really?
I did my first theater production, and my only one was Church Girl.
Okay.
So I got to work with Wanda Near Butler and a few other ones. So, you know, it was kind of like really intense. Like I was running up and down steps in heels. Like by the end of the night, we were all like, okay, let's get a foot massage tomorrow morning. Like, you know, it was really intense. It was quick. You don't have time to really think. It's just cue, go, go, go. So, you know, I prefer kind of a slower, kind of just a pace. It's just my preference. You know, and I like being able to just re-go over something and you can change it just a little bit each time and make it something unique.
Well, that's the same in theater. I mean, each night is different. I mean,
That's
you
true.
have a different show
Yeah.
every night. But I think both. I like both.
You like both?
Yeah.
What if you had to pick?
If I had to pick,
You had to
television.
pick. Television.
Television. I would choose television in a heartbeat because it's consistent work.
That's very true.
I mean, really, it's you know, you're contracted. Unlike film, I mean, film you have more time to do other projects.
Right.
But I'm the type of person where I like consistency, and I just like to know that, you know what, every week I've got something I'm doing. So yeah, television.
Television.
Hands down.
Hands down. And also another thing that's interesting about television, and I had never really thought about it this way until I ended up getting into acting, is with TV, you have a character, but over those seasons, or however long that you're playing this character, things change. So you change with the character as you see the character changing within the show. Whereas in a movie, there's, unless you have sequels like all those Mission Impossibles or the Pirates of the Caribbean. Like the characters will change, but they're in set movie times. You're only going to be filming for a month and a half or however long. What type of role would you love to play that you have not had a chance to play yet? It can be anything.
I'd love to be British.
You'd love to play a
Yeah.
British.
My dream is to be cast as talent in like a British TV show and actually go to England and kind of live there and just, enjoy it. That would be just totally the ideal dream.
Now, are you a fan of like British TV? Do you
I
do you
do.
watch it on?
Sounds
I
like
grew
it.
up on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, because my
Really?
grandmother, she's actually a writer.
Oh,
So she
wow.
loves poetry. So she's really obsessed with kind of like British writing and, and so I just grew up with it. I grew up with the classics, like Jane Austen. She had me reading it when I was like 12 years old. So it's just, it's kind of the ideal for me.
To go to London and be a
Yeah, that'd be
TV
great. I get to live
TV
there.
star
It's such a
there.
beautiful place. I just would love it so much.
How about you?
Well, I've never been to London.
Someday.
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 It could happen. You
But
never
nah,
know.
I think I would like to try, well, The Practice, if you're familiar with the TV series, The Practice
Yes.
by David E. Kelly.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite shows. So I would love to play a defense attorney.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Just
can
to
see
just
that.
I can
I'm
see
not
that
sure-
too.
I'm not sure how to take that. But no, I would love to play a defense attorney just to be able to get in there and argue, on
Okay.
behalf
Are
of
you
someone.
argumentative by nature?
No, not at all. I'm actually shy by nature. It's which goes back to your first question. I mean, I first got into this business. I went to an audition,
Yeah.
and I was just so excited and just so proud of myself to get on stage in front of strangers and make a fool of myself.
Yeah.
Only to get home to my brother where we shared the room, an apartment, to not believe me. But I did get the part. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was.
So your first audition, you got the part.
Yeah, hey,
That
thank you
is
God.
lucky.
That
yeah,
is
it's-
lucky.
it's, well, hey, call it luck. I call it blessing. But not really. It was a first. It was the first one, the first audition, and I had no idea what I was getting into.
Of course
You
not.
know, again, I'm just going on what I've seen on stage from my brother directing, and from what I've seen on TV and movies. So it was a learning experience. I'm still learning,
Yeah.
but I love it at the same time.
Absolutely. I feel like there's never really a time where you stop learning
No.
in this
no.
job.
Not
Things
at
are
all.
always changing. There's always a new way to do things or a new input or just something that you never even really thought about. But going back to auditions, I feel like a lot of the public don't understand how grueling the audition process can be.
Oh.
Even being
Yes.
on set is grueling.
I
I've been on some
know.
scary sets where I was just like,
And
oh
they
my
think
goodness.
it's such a glamorous life.
Yeah.
And when people see actors
Every
that are
actor
on,
struggles.
they see
Seriously.
actors on film and they think, how on earth did they get there? But it was for years and years that those actors were going on auditions and they never never got their chance. And then that one part they auditioned
Yeah.
for.
I think they said it took Brad Pitt like 8 years. or
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. And he was like living, I think, like out of his car for a little bit because he had to get a job and like it was quite a struggle for him.
Yeah.
So we all, I think, struggle to some extent.
Absolutely.
But it is a glamorous job.
Yeah. It's worth
I
the
mean,
struggle.
it's hard, but like every
Really?
job, like it really. I mean, look.
18 hours on a set
Hey,
where you're standing
But think
there.
about it. Think about it. Think about this. This is how I put things in perspective, and I'm just speaking from a theater side of things. You know, sometimes when I do shows and I'm touring, I'm on stage for maybe an hour, and getting paid X amount of dollars.
That's true.
That it would take me, I don't know, a week for sometimes, or days to make that. And so if
Right.
I have to put in one day where it's 16 hours of me not really working, but being on the set and still networking with people, I mean, you can't really beat that. It's just like a lawyer.
Yeah.
Lawyers put in hours too.
I mean, and I've worked on sets where it's been an 18-hour day, and I would rather work an 18-hour day than a 9-to-5 job
Absolutely.
at a desk.
Absolutely.
And I know people think I'm crazy when I tell them that, but I now know that I have people that agree with me because actors, we love it. And if you love something enough, then you're willing to do it.
But Allison, you have to be crazy to do this anyway.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Obviously.
so-
You have to have a screw loose somewhere. So with auditioning, what is the scariest part for you guys when you're going into an audition?
the whole process.
The
You
whole
don't know what's
process.
in their head. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if they sometimes want you to come there looking the part, and you're like, well, what's the part supposed to look like? I mean, what's the character? You know,
Right.
sometimes you really have no idea.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's the whole process is scary.
Yeah.
But the one thing that you have to keep in mind is that when you go to an audition, a lot of times directors don't know what they want.
yeah.
And it's not until the
That's true,
actor
too.
does something that makes them say, ah. But then the flip side of that is you go into an audition where the director already know they want celebrity actors.
Right.
But they have to go through the formality of holding an audition.
Right.
And that, you know, it's like, you know what, this, yeah. But the whole thing is scary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you remember your first audition?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was for A Raisin in the Sun.
Yeah,
And-
that
and-
was-
yeah,
that
that's
was your
yeah.
theater.
And again, I had no idea, man. I was just went up there and in front of people and just let it go.
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, it was scary.
Oh, I believe it.
It was very scary, but
But you did it.
I did it, and it's not a day that I perform before I go on stage that I don't get nervous.
Yeah. I think that's natural, though. That's a natural thing, I think. And I think that there's something wrong if you don't get nervous
Yeah.
when you go on stage. Do you know what I mean? Or if you're on set or something. Do you remember your first audition, Daria?
I really didn't have, for me, I didn't have a first audition because my first was I just got cast in Below the Beltway.
Oh, I mean, no big
You
deal.
know,
Big
so I was just kind of like,
We're working with
that
the
was-
big leagues over here, people.
yes.
That was my first. So I was like, I didn't really audition. I just, you know, kind of just got cast. You know, I guess that's really, you know, the right person at the right time.
And
you
you're
know?
sitting here with us.
Yes.
Wow.
We are,
Yes.
we are privileged.
I am honored.
Yes, we
Really?
really are privileged. We're privileged to be able to do the job we love and to be able to sit here and talk about it, you know, and people are going to learn from the experience.
Absolutely. So besides from acting on film or theater, what other training do you guys have? Do you guys sing? Do you have combat? Do you do voiceover?
Allison, I've sang on stage before. I mean, different
That's
productions.
tough.
I don't ever go out for singing productions. Let me just put that out there. I don't even consider myself a singer. But
You don't go for musical
I
theater?
don't go for musical theater at all. Although I do think that's where you find some of your best singers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I stay away from it. If it's just a little piece in there that I can do, you know,
Right.
okay, I'll do it. But if it's something big and you have to be a baritone or they call in your part soprano, oh, forget about it. Yeah, I'm done.
I took choir for 5 years, but it really wasn't my thing. Not really.
Yeah.
So kind of after high school, I just kind of forgot about it. But I went to voiceover, so it's not quite like singing.
Yeah, so tell me more about voiceover. You work on projects that are animation, or do you do narration?
I love narration and commercial.
Okay.
They're really exciting, especially narrations are really long, so the pay is like really awesome.
Yeah.
And at the same time, a commercial, it's, you know, it's everywhere. It's like international, you know, and it can be, there's just, you have no idea where it could go. So it's always, you never really know with a project, you know, and sometimes you'll get something over and over. So, but it really is, I think, about just meeting as many people as you can, you know, because they always think about it later and they'll be like, wait, I remember a girl who came in and did a project for me. I think she'd be great for this, or, you know, it's always helpful to meet as many people as you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Networking is a huge aspect.
It's
of
a
this.
job and it's so
It is. Just getting your name out and getting publicizing yourself in any sort of facet is incredibly valuable, especially in a market that's this small. Because once you get your face out, and if people, and especially if you're a hard worker and you get along with everybody on set, they're going to remember you.
Well, that's why it's good to go on auditions as well. I mean,
Yes.
just to get your face seen by these casting agencies and artistic directors. Because you never know. I mean, they may not like you for that one audition for that production, but they may think of you in the future for something else. So, you know, that's something that I always tell people, just go.
I got the
Right.
best
And-
wisdom from casting directors or just meeting and going to auditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, from any of that wisdom that you've ever been given by casting directors, what is something that you really wish you knew when you were first starting out that you know now?
I wish I had a demo a year ago.
A demo
Yeah,
reel?
because I went into, I think it was Betsy Royal, and they were like, well, we want your demo. We love your voices. And I was like, I don't have one. And that looks so unprofessional. And, you know, they were like, well, we can't give you work without a demo. We like your voice. We need it. And so it was just kind of like I missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I wish I had it a year ago, you know, so.
Now, in creating a demo reel, how would you even go about doing that? Would you just go into a sound booth and record?
Oh, no. It takes a lot of preparation. You have to have your scripts together. You have to have a range. So you have to know what kind of sound you want, you know, who you're portraying, teenager. It's really... You have to think about every possibility. Like, you have to think about how long it is because it can't go past a certain, you know, amount of time because it's a certain standard in the industry. It has to be this long. It has to have just your voice. You know, there are rules for making it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you wish that you had had a demo reel.
Yeah, that would have made my life a little easier.
Yeah. How about you?
I would have to say joining the union.
Now, are you union?
I'm AFTRA.
You are
Really?
I am
AFTRA.
AFTRA.
Okay.
But it was something that I never took too seriously because I've been getting work.
Right.
But it wasn't until a friend of mine said, you know, it's really making an investment in your career.
Yes.
And it's showing people that you are serious.
Yeah.
So that I wish I had known
Yeah.
a while ago because I would have joined years ago.
You would have joined years ago?
Yeah, I would have.
Oh, wow. Well, you
I've
know that
always-
SAG and AFTRA are now merging.
Absolutely,
So are
yeah,
you going
right.
to get grandfathered into SAG?
You know what? Sadly, I have not read the whole guidelines, but I think
That, like,
you,
80-page
exactly.
thing.
But you know, I'm gonna read it. But I think, I think you
You
are
should read
correct that you are
contracts.
grandfathered into SAG. I
Okay.
believe, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. But with this area, you might now, would you ever consider moving to Los Angeles or going to New York? Because there are more union projects that
Almost
are there.
everything is union in
I
New
tell you
York.
what.
I know.
I learned that from a
Yeah.
casting
Yeah.
director.
10 to
I-
1 here is non-union, but 10 to 1 in New York is union.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I say that right.
You know, of course, you know, you have some agents who will tell you don't be in a rush to go union.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're staying in this area. If
Right.
you're going to New York, LA, definitely. You know, what I found out with AFTRA is that they pay you more in New York than they do LA.
Yes, they do.
Now, I went to LA for a month promoting a play that I was doing back in 2010
Wow.
for a month. And that was, I've been to LA, you know, several times, but that was the first time where I was actually there for that type of business. And that was the first time that I said to myself, I could live here. Because I'm an East Coast guy.
Yeah.
You know, I just love the East Coast, but the weather, that no humidity.
That is what
oh
draws
my God.
everybody.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yes. I would definitely move out there in a heartbeat now.
I would love to go to New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Because, I'm more kind of like a countryish. I prefer lots of greenery. So New Jersey would be pretty ideal for me. And I can easily get to New York. It's like 2 stops. And it's very fast and efficient, the train
Yeah.
station.
Sounds like your British accent comes in and out.
It's weird because when I'm sometimes like I think about it. And when I think about it, my mind just changes. Like, it's really funny. It's, you know, it's kind of like with a language. If you're thinking about something else, you'll just say something totally
Yeah.
random. Or you may mix, like, if you have more than one language, you can mix them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those accents. I don't even
Oh my
know
goodness,
how
I
you
had
would
too
even
many.
keep them straight.
I
I would
had the
sound like
challenge.
an old Scottish person, and I'd be attempting to sound like a young British woman. I wouldn't even know the
I have
difference
had the
between.
challenge of my life when I went into an audition and the guy's like, go through all 5 in less than 2 minutes. I was like,
What?
yeah. And I was like, I said, what? And he's like, go. And I was like, oh my God. I was like trying to switch my brain. And he's like, great, you passed. I was like, what? By the end of it, I was just like sweating. I was like, oh my God. My brain had to like switch so fast. It's like switching between languages. And like,
Yeah.
it was so, I was amazed even that I did it. I was like, I have never had someone ask me to do that in such a short period of time.
See,
you
those
know.
are the types of things that you go through in auditions that are so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing about the acting profession that people who are not actors don't understand, and there's like a preconceived notion that people have that is completely untrue?
there are a lot of rules.
Oh.
There are a lot of rules. Yeah. Like,
And you think people think that this is ruleless? It's just kind
even
of
background work, some people think, oh, it's simple, and I'm like, there's rules, you know. Like my
Yeah.
first set, someone got kicked off because he acted inappropriately around the other actors. So you have to really think about rules all the time. So I mean, it's.
You would think
You
that
know.
was understood, though, you know?
Yeah.
You would think, but you know, I guess some people don't realize just how many rules there are. So, you know, like everything's a rule. Your resume headshot has to be a certain way. It's
know.
all a rule. So you have to follow the rules as they change over time, or you're just kind of like outed.
Wow. Okay. Daron?
The finished product that you see is not done overnight.
Okay.
You know, it's constantly going on, especially in theater. From the time you do your table read to closing night, that's the only time it is done. And it's not, if you want to do this, you can't tiptoe around it. You know,
Right.
you've got to make a, did I just say bake? You have to make a big splash. So yeah, but it's worth it. If you have the passion for it and you have the tough skin for rejection, it's definitely
Takes
worth
patience, but it definitely is worth it.
Yeah. That's something that I think that a lot of people, especially in this area, because it's not entertainment driven, have a hard time understanding.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, well, like people around here look at the success rate of it. They look at the numbers and the statistics, but they don't look at it as something that you're really passionate about. And
It requires a lot of sacrifice.
It does.
Passion, persistence,
Yeah, even getting to a
and
job is
professionalism.
sacrifice.
I know.
Yeah.
Because it could be in West Virginia and you live in, like, say, Silver Spring, Maryland. You have to think about, okay, I have to travel there, I have to travel back. You know, I have to make sure I pack everything. I have to, you know, plan, like, am I going to stay at a hotel? Do I have friends there? You have to really,
It
everything
can be
is-
painful.
It can be.
It can be painful.
And it's a huge expense out of your pocket, so that's something you also have to be prepared
Especially if you live in this area. But at the same time,
It's
on the
worth
flip
it.
side, it's worth it. But no, I just want to say too
yeah,
that
it's worth it.
there's another way.
Yeah.
You know, there's another way.
You can find alternatives.
I mean, you can always. I encourage people to always develop a one-person show that you can keep in
Right.
your back pocket. If you really want to
That's a very good
perform,
point.
you know, you can perform. It doesn't have to be a full 60-minute production. It can be a short, film-wise. It can be a one-act play. Just something that you're passionate about, that you feel it just tugs at your heart that you want to speak about. You can do it.
I feel that if you follow your passion, you'll be a success. Because you're happy about what you're doing and you're bringing that and you're bringing a huge, great vibe to everyone around you and people like being around you, and then you just naturally make connections and you know, it's just, you just have to be happy about what you're doing.
I mean, even here with what you're doing. I mean, you know.
We're
you
doing
don't-
this,
you
aren't
don't-
we?
You don't want someone
Like
up
a little
here.
party.
You don't want someone sitting here. It was great. I mean, it's all about character, and every day what I love about this is the freedom it provides, and that every day, whether I'm on the metro or in the mall, there's always characters that you can incorporate into some of your auditions or
That is
or
so
plays.
true. I have found myself more and more noticing people and behavior around me in order to be able to use that
Yeah.
later on. But guys, thank you we should probably wrap this up, but
Yep.
thank you so much for coming
Thank
in
you,
Oh, it was
and
Allison.
for
so much
being my
fun.
guest.
It was a blast.
And when there are more things that you guys are getting into and coming up with, please, I would love to have you guys on again so that our viewers can see how you guys' careers are progressing
you.
and anything else that you guys are doing. So this has been Lights, Camera, Action with Allison Howard, a discussion about acting in the Washington, D.C. area. And thank you so much for watching. When I exit the show, when I say goodbye, we're going to continue to pretend like we're talking.
Okay.
And we're going to be like,
So we're just gonna mouth it, and I'm